Look as beautiful as always, it seems. Yeah, she's like skin's getting a little shiny now. Shiny skin. You girls jealous. I already knew that. But anyway, today we will just talk about dating gurus or dating experts or dating teachers on YouTube. Um, it's a fucking joke. Most of these people are all clickbait and for desperate assholes that are stupid as a box of rocks, which is fine. I'm not being ignorant and saying stupid is bad. As long as you learn, because you have to be dumb first before you're intelligent, because that's how it works. It's been working like that for ages. So for people out there that are desperate and don't know how to deal with things, I would have to say to you, I know YouTube's all about money making, and I agree with it to a certain extent. But when you get full fledged liars out there that literally just make up shit top of their head and people fall for it, how about a rude awakening? Guess what? Life's like not. Life is not like that. Just because I'm a pretty man, I get all this girl attention, which I do. A lot of them are scared to talk to me, more or less. Either they come on to me too hard or they don't come on to me at all. Sometimes girls don't like me. Okay. Does it bother me? No. And we could say why. Because there's millions of women out there, thousands of them around your area. From ages 18 to 30, you could see, 12 years of women. And same thing with men. So you can pick in between what you want to do. People say date your own age. Your own age is boring. Why? Because they know nothing. Now, if you train yourself to become something better, obviously you can. It's like you look back in high school. I look back at high school. I didn't know that I was attractive looking. I was scared. I hated myself. So what did I do? I, you know, hide myself away, which a lot of people do. I can understand. We all go through this. Normally it's bad parenting or whatever it might be. But it's just how it is. Unfortunately, as you grow up, what do? You learn how to be who you are. And growing up is difficult because people think growing up is all about paying bills. Paying bills is a necessary thing to survive on. Yes, responsibility goes up, but maturity doesn't have to go up. Because normally at work, what do? You do your job. You have a little fun with people that are like you. You act fake towards your boss, saying, I'm the best guy ever. They watch you do the job, and then when they leave, you gotta play hooky a little bit. You fuck around. Does it happen everywhere? Of course it happens everywhere. That's how life is. I've done it before, done all the damn time. I get away with a lot of shit. Why? Because I'm good looking. That's why. How stupid that might be, and how judgmental men are towards me. They fucking hate me. They don't like me. Unless they're sort of like, let's say, like, sit there and like, oh, they the icon me. I'm like, okay. I wish I had that happen before. People look up to me and be like, oh my God, you're so cool. Da, da, da. Like, I am who I am. If you enjoy it, then enjoy it. If you hate it, you're going to hate it. Most times it's people that want to be like that, but they can't be like that because they struggle with their life. I struggle too. I have countless people that might watch my stuff. You know what they say is, why do you look so young? Like, I'm not stressed out. I'm in the blank void of my mind a lot of times, and I don't stress out. Number two, what they do, they'll say, you know, how do you do it? You yourself are the only one that cannot think about it. How hard is that? It's easy to say. It's like saying something, and then you're like, man, that's hard to do. And then someone says, well, it is, but it's an experience. You have to experience it. Like, okay, I got psoriasis on my face. I got psoriasis. I have issues with my skin and that, and it hurts. Do people judge me for it? Not really. Actually, it's quite the opposite. Like women don't judge me at all. Women have a very oh man, I fucking they look forward into good into men. But men, when they look at a woman, I don't think it's I don't think it's the same. Not for all of us. That's how we're raised, honestly. So about the dating assholes on YouTube, bro, like these are the things that get all girls to like you. They suck your dick. They say that to discourage you to believe bullshit. I read comments on these people that I talked about this Mari girl. She's like Mari, professional wing girl, or fuck that she thinks that she is. She has like 700,000 subscribers. I have no idea how she does. She's a fucking idiot. She's a good looking girl with a nice little B cup rack that sits there in a lounge, like a lounge, weave chair in a $700,000 house talking to morons about how to get girls. But the one thing that she does get right is about what girls actually do. I agree with her. But what she gets wrong is how men should be towards women. Number one, no. Saying we made up these flirtatious acts. We talked to 1,000 girls. I'm like, so you did an experiment with 1,000 women. And you said the way a man talks to you just makes you look past the way they look. They look past the way they smile, the way they look, all together, and say you're like the knight in shining armor. I beg to differ, and she knows better too. Like she says things like any man. She always like refers to any or all. She never says certain kinds of men. She always says looks don't matter, but grooming matters. And I'm like, what? Grooming does matter, but that's a look. So you contradict what you're saying because you're a fucking idiot. And the keywords they always say, trust me, or they'll say, I know, or they'll say, these have been studies shown. No, I'm sorry. You're an idiot and you know better. But you're greedy. You're in a cult. You're greedy. That's a cult. You're greedy. You want people to give you attention. Is your life so bad? I read the comments below. One guy said, I hate to be your husband. Because you're fishing out bullshit. And your husband's sitting there like, that's not right, right? It doesn't matter because I'm making money. Well, for people to believe you, as in belief, it's a cult. That's what believing is. You're believing in something. You make it a religion, which is a cult. For someone to follow you makes you into a cultist. Now, bad or good, not saying everything she says is wrong, but a lot of things she does say about what men can do to get a woman attracted to him is complete garbage. But she has to keep pumping out videos because of you idiots out there are like, oh my god, look, I can see a little bit of her little cleavage. I'm excited. She says I could get that hot girl across the street. I look like this, and I could get her. Now I'm just having fun, not saying making fun of anybody. But that's how she thinks of you. That's how all these people think. One of the guys came out and says he's stopping. He's stopping making videos because he knows it's bullshit. He got a conscience. I've seen it. He walks around with 2 like earrings on in that. He's like, I'm the coolest guy ever. He's in good shape in that. I don't think he gets women at all. I think he's an idiot. If I was a girl, I looked at him like, oh, you're good looking, but you're a fucking moron. Because you're sprouting out lies. And one thing that this Marin girl said, she says, 2 words, I would say it's an actual thing that you can do. It's called telling the truth. And I looked at her video on that. I'm just like, telling the truth. And she's making up this story. She's like, I knew someone. You didn't know these people. Someone like emailed you, hey, you're so hot. Here's a story about what happened. And the story can be fabricated because it's a fucking story. Stories are fabricated. Now, a lesson different than a story. A lesson is something that you learn and you repeat over and over again to understand it, to know it, to make it become knowledge, to make it part of your life. A story has a spot of truth with an enormous amount of bullshit. That's what stories are. You ever read a book? Most of it's bullshit. Even the Bible, most of it's bullshit. It's human based crap to control you or to make something sound better. And other than talk about date gurus, talk about people altogether that make YouTube channels. Specific ones, like educational ones. Like I'm a big flat earth person. Earth's fucking flat. No denying it. It is. You always have people that believe the earth spins, that we are in a globe. Believe, not know, believe. They don't know, they accusate. And what they accusate is that your stuff is a theory. To a certain extent, everything's a theory until proven right. But every time you talk about something, they're always trying to disprove flat earth. They never tried to disprove globe. Why? Because they already know it's not a globe. They're like their brains. It's like that brainwash thing. It's like, oh, that bug in their heads. You can't make it flat earth. They go in this dramatic shock. And then they start to distraught, start to destroy, start to make people like hate each other because they believe it, start to make fun of. This one guy is called Professor Dave, whatever the fuck his name is. Professor Dave. I believe that's not his real name, but if it is, whatever, it doesn't matter. He starts talking. One of his videos, he made one video about flat earth. He made another video to comment on that video. And he's like, I can prove flat earth without science. I'm like, okay. I listened to that. I'm like, but you need science to prove it wrong or right. You can't just put pictures up and say, you can't do this, you can't do that. But prove that it's round, you moron. You haven't proved anything. You're trying to disprove something, but to not prove what you're doing. So saying my shit stinks to me, but my shit to someone else has to smell better than my nose intakes, Or some people say my farts never stink. But you can't prove it. Does it stink? Yeah. Does it stink towards that other person? Well, if he's 10 feet, 30 feet away, more or less, it's not going to smell the same. So everyone has different, ways of looking at it from various ways. And it happens with anything in life. Dating, educational stuff. Just like I went through colleges, teaching. So my friend, well, he's like a friend of a friend. He is a teacher, and he is getting his doctorate's degree. Just imagine this: have a doctorate degree in teaching. He teaches disability kids, which is even a harder thing to do because there's a lot of things you have to do because learning curves are everywhere. That's with everybody else. It's not just with disabilities. And it's really funny. Being a teacher, you teach how to learn, but do you take it for yourself to learn? Oh, you went to school for it, but you went to school for teaching other people, not yourself. How do you make yourself learn? By getting a teacher degree. Well, that's what the whole point of teaching is to teach someone, as in yourself, and someone else, as in many, to become what? More educated, more smarter, more knowledgeable. Not everything in intelligence is going to be useful. It's like the main intelligence of usefulness would be critical thinking, to be able to use your brain to open up to understand all instead of understand Most people want to understand a little bit of and try to understand all, but they get blockaded. That goes with the earth as a globe or flat. These discussions have been happening for, say, several hundreds of years. matter of thousands of years. But why it's happening today is because of people believing that NASA is an actual organization that goes into space. Yeah, sure. Prove it. Pictures. Exactly. Pictures. Pictures can be fabricated. Just like anything else, you have the technology. They even state that's fabricated. Why? Because I already know they're flat. They already know. Everyone knows. We're stupid, as in we don't know because we don't open up. They feed us this shit. Okay, it's like a story. You ever heard that someone tells you a story in that and they always make themselves look really fucking good? That's what they're doing. They're making themselves look so good. They're sitting there looking at us like, you guys are stupid because they have the power to persuade us to think that way. And this is a big thing. It is, like I said, this is with anything, with the date gurus, with anything. Date gurus do the same thing. I heard listen to these fuckers all the time. They make a bunch of commercials and that when you're down and looking desperate, because they know that we're desperate and they know that we're idiots. As in, we don't fucking know. We choose not to know because we don't study it ourselves. So they make us learn the specific thing. I mean, I see this shit all the time. It drives me crazy. And like, every time I see these people say stuff in that, it's like the comments below literally explain. And some of the people that are like, "Oh my god, you saved my life," and that, all they are is just emotional gurus. They give you happiness and bullshit to a certain extent. Some things they say might be right, but sometimes they put a little bit more spice on it to make it seem like it's their own, to make themselves feel good, I guess. Maybe they're all depressed. They probably all shoot up heroin or whatever. But I listened to this Marin, and she's beautiful, by the way. I'm sure her husband bangs her all the time. Maybe she likes getting big old dildos up her ass. Knowing how she knows how to fucking manipulate you guys, she must be pretty damn good at it. Because I noticed most men, as in myself, I'm happy I learned, are more addicted towards being, I guess, desperate. Because women have been taught that men are supposed to flirt with them, not the other way around. And why is that? Because we're taught that way. They push it into us like, oh, women don't fart. Can't fart or poop. Wait a minute, but you do. Oh, it's a taboo. I'm sure every woman goes through that. They're like, their mom's like, you can't fart in front of a guy. I'm like, well, why? They fart too. Well, you just can't do that. They call it a taboo, as in it's forced upon you to not do something, even though it's naturally done. So stupid. There's all kinds of things, just like with men. Men are saying you have to be chivalry, you have to be, this. No one's chivalry. No one's a fucking man. You don't understand what a man is. Who wants a man? What they actually talk about. If I get people on there right now saying, "Well, man, is this the one that's in charge?" Okay, what's in charge? Okay, explain definition of man. Then explain what you think a man is. Being in charge, being a leader. So you're saying a woman can't be a leader, and then they get stuck on their words. A man can be a leader as much as a woman can. A relationship is a balance between two people, which means balance. If it's not balance, it disrupts the balance, which makes it to where one person is over the other one, which means slavery. Oh my God. Ding. The word of the fucking day. You can't have someone higher up. Yes, it can bounce back and forth, but to claim someone's higher up than someone else because one, you're a man, two, you're a woman. I think about it as a rotating. It rotates. Go back and forth. Why not? There's some things I might be good at. There's some things that my pretend girlfriend that I don't have might be good at. That's a balance. And a lot of people say, maybe just stupid people say on these infomercials and that say not a lot of women have orgasms compared to men. Well, what I have to say about that, and that Mari girl talks about it, Marin, whatever it is. And she's saying, guys don't like to have foreplay. I'm like, okay, yeah. If you don't know, you don't fucking know. Am I supposed to know what she wants? That is the biggest problem. These guru assholes on the internet say women do nothing, men do everything. A man has to know. They have to know. I'm like, well, know what? If you like me, come up to me and talk to me. Don't sit there and be like, and then act like I'm supposed to understand what the fuck you're saying. I don't understand what you're saying. If you're a full-fledged woman that's sexy, you got great tits, you got great ass, you got a beautiful face. You wake up in the morning, you're like, man, I look great. But you can't confront me? I mean, my face is good looking. I got a gut on me now. I got big arms. But I'm not the iconic fucking Hollywood looking man. But for some reason, they can't come to approach me. A lot of it's because of the way I talk. Well, that's my personality. If you don't like that, then by all means, don't like me at all. But there's a common thing why people are the way they are. So, for instance, I'm kind of a rambler. I like to talk about various things. If you haven't noticed, if you've watched my stuff, it's very various. I talk about many things because it comes to my mind. I rather talk about what comes to my mind than talk about something that's been stored in my mind for years. Now it's an adaptation for years and years and years of doing stuff. There it goes. Now my camera goes out. I have to fucking pause to talk, or you'll hear a bunch of. Keep saying my camera's unstable. I don't think it's unstable. I think your face is unstable. Yeah, YouTube. Okay. Since I brought up YouTube, YouTube is a fantastic way to get yourself out there. Well, you don't talk about too much of politics or Trump or whatever. They normally don't give a shit. And they shouldn't give a shit. But there's a lot of lying pieces of shit on YouTube that want money. Look at my channel. I got 12 subscribers. And the last two were people that I knew or knew. So why is my channel not growing? Yeah, I could do some things in that and make actual videos in that. Oh yeah, look at it. It's just sometimes when you tell the truth, people don't want to hear it. People want to hear fabricated bullshit. Some people want to hear the truth because they're intelligent. They want to hear it. They want to be like, oh my God, that's awesome. But then they don't. Then they're like, but I like this thing better because he shows a bunch of flashing lights in that. He makes me. What are you, a fucking kid? Well, if I flash lights in front of you, you're gonna be like, oh my God, it's so cool. Come on. My voice should be what keeps you entertained. Tell them the truth. Tell them what is actually closest to the truth that I can is what should keep you entertained. I do all the time at the gym. I sit there and I talk. No one asks me one question. One question. They just don't want to. Or maybe they think that I'm an idiot. No, I'm a genius. I already know I am. I have a gift of knowledge. I've always did. I absorb knowledge based upon my excitements. That's how knowledge is normally absorbed best, is by excitement. Is it exciting? I'll absorb it. Emotional has always been my pivot point. I love talking about it. To understand it takes a long time. That's why I argue with people that disrupt the emotional, I guess, era of other people by spouting bullshit. This is how life should have to be. And then when that person tries that life that someone tries to tell them to do, guess what happens? They end up not doing it, or they end up doing it and they end up hating themselves for it. Why you gotta dislike yourself because you want to work at a factory for the rest of your life? By all means, work at a factory. Build up that currency and move on. Make sure you learn something. It's not about the damn money. Every time I go to a job, I'm not like, when's my paycheck coming in? I absorb the knowledge around me. I absorb people. I'm talkative. I talk to people and that I absorb their emotions. I understand them. I want to grow with them so I can grow too. Has humanity forgot that we are together? I mean, I think that we're all separate. If we were separate, then by all means, we wouldn't learn anything. And people might say, well, how can you say that? Well, because knowledge is gifted upon everybody differently. Depending on where you live at, depending on what schools you go to. Obviously, some schools are horrible. Depending on how your parents are. That is the biggest thing. Parenting. Parents need to teach their kids how to be them, as in do what you want to do, just don't get hurt. Run around in circles for 5 hours. Don't get hurt. Understand? Some drugs are, bad, and some drugs are even worse than bad. Try something out once. Just don't do the really big drugs. People talk about alcohol and that, say alcohol is just everyone drinks. But when you talk about smoking weed, some people taboo. If my dad wasn't a drunk, he'd be better off. If your dad was a pot smoker, he'd probably be better off. It's all about what people give you and you digest, as in absorb into your brain. And they sit there and they want you to learn a specific thing instead of learn on your own. Yeah, I'm massage my dog. Oh my god, my jaw fucking hurts. Oh man. There it goes. Barely fucking move, and damn things like focus again. Yeah. That is so. Going back to these dating gurus, there ain't nothing much to say that they're a bunch of fucking liars. They spout shit because they want money, and I hate it so much. It's like I always say, if I got a million subscribers, I damn well will have to say that is one smart ass million subscribers. Even 1,000 subscribers. If I had 1,000 subscribers, just get my fucking shit monetized so I can make my pennies. By all means, make my pennies. Now, if I keep getting all these subscribers and that because they actually are intelligent, they're like, man, I actually do learn. By all means, that is a gift to me to have someone say, that makes perfect sense. I'm going to be who I am. I'm not going to be like everybody else, the celebrities. Celebrities are there to control you and say, ha, ha, ha. You can't be like me unless you sign your soul away, which most times they do. Not saying all of them. But when you're a little kid, who just says, oh, man, I want to be like Dwayne Johnson? You want to be rich like him. You know how much crap he has to go through? He's forced. He's forced. At 50-something years old, he's forced to be the best shape of his life. Once again, in the best shape of his life. More better shape than he was before on Jumanji. More better shape than he was before on all these other movies. They demand him, you better fucking get good shape, you big old pile of meat shit. Here's $10 million. Like, oh, I'll keep on going. You can see his Instagram pictures. He looks tired. He looks like he's just like, he's eating 1,000 less calories than he's supposed to stay as ripped as possible. He feels like shit. He's like, and people are like, yeah, iconic. And I'm like, dude, no, you shouldn't iconic that. You're not iconic in him. You're iconic in what they're telling him to do. You know what, Dwayne Johnson? Just stop making movies, please. Not saying your movies suck. You are not a bad actor when you're sweet, when you act like yourself. But I noticed in the last several movies, you've been acting like you're tired. Quit. Quit the cold. Quit all that shit in Hollywood. Go move someplace else. Go live someplace, not such a fucking cultist bullshit way like California Hollywood is. Go live someplace else. You got followers. People are going to follow you. People are going to love you for who you are, what you actually wore before all this crap. Just stop. Make people learn what life is. You tell people about your past life, which I heard. I was in jail and that, all this stuff. And how much of it is true? Who knows? Like I said, it's a story. A documentary. It's still a story. Could he be telling the truth? Maybe. To a certain extent, I believe that he did. Because, he looked like one of those guys that looked like he'd like to get in trouble a lot. Why? Because he's an asshole. I think he makes money. I mean, but what's he gonna do? I say start preaching the fucking truth. You start preaching the truth about life itself, that it's not based upon the currency that you make, which is good. It's good to be successful in that way, but succession is not just about making money. It's a part of it, obviously, in our culture, because that's how we survive. Who doesn't want to survive better? Who doesn't want to have a maid? Get you a really super hot, big titty maid that walks around, probably your girlfriend, walk around with a little fucking skirt on, showing off her big, huge ass. I would. Do I have that now? Unfortunately, she's probably invisible, and I have no idea where the fuck she's at, but man, I surely like for her to sit on my dick. That's what we all want. Same thing with girls. Want that knight in shining armor, or some of them actually just want an average guy to play video games with. I love playing video games with girls, but the biggest thing with that is they get too emotional, and sometimes they don't want to play. They get too intuitive. Big words. Hate them. What does that even mean? Something of. Yeah. But that's what people do. And for men to sit there all day long, like I used to back in my early 20s, and I pondered so hard because I didn't have anywhere to go. My mind was thumbstruck, so to speak. I was depressed, I had mass anxiety in that. Everyone goes through that. And some people keep on going through it. I tell a lot of people that I do talk to in that. I said, number one, be single. Be single for as long as you can. Don't think you have to constantly date. Because there it goes. For some reason when my camera goes off when I'm doing actual camera web live streams, for some reason when it disconnects, my mic doesn't work, even though I can see my thing moving back and forth. Well, anyway. But this is what I hate about these date gurus. And a lot of them are probably not going to have their channels anymore because they're lying so much. They're hearing comments and that these people saying like, dude, this shit doesn't work. And they probably send them pictures because people are gullible. Every time you go on YouTube, just me making a YouTube channel, making a little bit of a web live thing, people think, wow, you're showing yourself off to the world. You must have balls. I'm like, because the fucking world needs to know how it is, at least from my perspective and my research that I did myself. I love to bounce off ideas off most people, and that a lot of times, guess what? They don't. There's one guy at the gym. He has my name. Stupid, isn't it? So every time I hear my name being called out, I don't even announce to because it's always called on him. Number one is I like people to talk to me in the gym. Because I'm not like them. I don't think like you guys do. I'm sorry. I can't anymore. Why? Because I'm a higher conscious. I just don't do it. I do get emotional, obviously. That was a squirrel, by the way. Squirrel. But they don't appreciate it. And every once in a while, they do talk to me in that. And when they talk to me in that, well, we'll get in conversation. And I'll start talking in the way that I do, showing off who I am. And all of a sudden, it like drifts away. People like, I don't want to hear you lecturing me, and like not lecturing you. I'm just telling you what it is. Sorry if you don't want to listen. Sorry that you don't want to know. Someone has to research stuff. It's not like you leave it up to these idiots. Some of these scientists are just all biblical crap. You know, people praise them for what? They got a PhD in microbiology. So you stare at shit all day. You understand how it works. But you throw out theories to how that works and throw out another theory how that works. They're all theories. They're just a thought. We can all think. What the fuck? Are you saying I can't think? It's because I don't have a telescope or microscope. I can't sit there and stare at my nuts long enough to see if they jiggle if I barely move. Oh my God, it's a phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Everything all works together. All the dating emotional shit that you hear on YouTube that are these guys are like, there's just certain things that women like. But there's certain kind of women that like that. Everything's in a percent. A lot of women love me. Why? Because I tell the truth. I tell how it is. Every once in a while, I'll get like text messages from girls I barely ever talked to. I met up with them once. We worked together. I chit chat with them and that. I give them a little bit of attention, give them a little bit of love and that. You know, son, they don't talk to you all the time. They talk to me every once in a while. So once in a while, they talk to me. They go, "Hey, how you doing?" And that. They always ask the questions first. Oh my god, which indicates that they have attraction towards me. If you don't ask a question, that means you probably don't like the fucking person. Like, how are you doing? If you're asking how am I doing, which means you're going to be slightly, if not indefinitely, emotionally attracted to me and attracted to me, whatever other reasons might be. That's how it works. You ever, most guys, sit there and they'll text a girl and the girl doesn't like texting them back. They'll text their girlfriend, like, oh my God, he texted me this question that I don't know what to say. Stop asking another woman for information that you should already know what you do. What comes to your mind? He asked me, what am I doing tonight? I don't know. What the fuck are you doing tonight? To me, that's like immaturity. If I ask a question and I know that you're always texting all the time, by all means, do what the fuck you want to do. I want a fucking response. I want a response. Not you to talk to your 50th cousin from fucking Europa, because, planets exist, and sit there and talk about the stuff and that, and then all of a sudden, 5 hours later, you get a text. Well, I'm already bored of you, so I'm going to hang out with some friends. That happens. It happens quite a bit, actually. So, women, time for you to be a woman, not be a fucking little girl, a little teenage girl that texts and on Instagram, all that shit and that. Like, oh, my life's so depressed. I got these big, perfect breasts and no one likes me. And you got 5,000 friends. Yeah, okay. Another way to manipulate people. You're depressed because you're shut in, as in you close your mind off and you only want specific things. That could be one thing. Not everything is not everything. We're not going to pull this like that date guru Marin says, all girls are attracted to this. No, some girls are attracted to this. Looks never matter for all girls. Yeah, that's why guys work out. Yeah, I don't lift weights because I want to look good for myself. I want to look weights because I want to look good for a woman that might like me. Why would I do? I thought about like, okay, why don't you get fat and do actual videos? Watch your fan bases go get fat, gain 50 pounds, get those big old nasty ass kinkles and shit, gain 100 pounds and see how these guys actually work. If they believe you and they'll be like, I bet your subscriber list is going to drop by at least 10, 15%. And then gradually drop a little bit more because people don't want to believe in you anymore because you're fat. Oh my God, did I just do something wrong? No. By all means, jerk off to these girls and that. That's fine. Give them money. To look good is hard. To have genetic goods like this mug right here is genetics. It's like, because one guy told me, this girl at Taco Bell, her name's Crystal. I talked about this many times before. One of the guys is just like what you call a simp. He does everything she says, and she doesn't even like him like that. And he believes, I don't know how the fuck he believes this. You're an idiot. Here's what it is. Just because a girl says, hey, do stuff for me, doesn't mean that she fucking wants to suck your dick. Number one, that's not how it works. As in, girls don't do that. They don't think that. Men think that about a woman. Just because you spend money on a woman doesn't mean that you're going to get your dick sucked. That's what you call a prostitute. Okay? That's how that shit works. You idiot men out there, some of you believe that garbage shit. It's a fucking joke. So anyway, we were at Taco Bell. It was me and her, and it was late at night. He comes in drunk, obviously, because he's a fucking pathetic ass man. I call him a man child. He's a fucking idiot. And he doesn't like me because she likes me. So he doesn't. He tolerates me because he thinks that if he tolerates me, he'll be able to get her. Okay, you listen to these gurus a lot and they tell you get any girl. If a girl doesn't fucking like you, I don't give a shit what kind of words you say to her. She does not like you. She will not fall for you unless she's a fucking idiot. unless she's just that unintelligent, just like everything I love. No, women don't do that. Neither do guys. If a fat chick came up to me and said these magical words like, "Oh, you look so beautiful in that," I'd be like, "Yeah, I heard that millions of times." So I've asked a really direct question, which I've done to a couple of girls that were heavier than that. So okay, well let's go bang then since you like me so much. A lot of them don't do it. They're like, they get scared. They're like, okay, well you're throwing down. Not saying I'm going to bang. I'm not saying that's the thing that should happen anyway. But it's a question to ask because you never know. If she says yes, let's do it right now. I'm like, well, it's just a question. Say, do you want to? I have to agree with it too. Just because I asked the question doesn't necessarily mean I agree to it. So if I say, yeah, do you want to bang? And she says yes. And I'm like, okay. I don't know you enough. It's a trick question. Because the girl says no and says, I don't know you enough. I'm like, I agree. And then you get to know each other. Some people don't. I mean, there's 2 girls or 3 girls in my life that I've noticed. I'm going to think back and think about it. These 3 that just want to have sex with me. They don't want to get to know me. They just want me to bang them. And how much I think back and then how beautiful they were good looking girls. They were skinny. They had, one had gigantic boobs and had big boobs and had blah blah blah. But the sex didn't exist because sex is emotional, not just physical. If the mind's not ready for it, obviously, it's hard to do it. Oh. Ooh. So the way I look at it from my perspective, the hottest girl in the world, say like that Alexander Dondora, or her fuck her name is, that one girl played off the Chainsaw Massacre, one with the fat round boobs and that. She's beautiful as hell. Beautiful face, beautiful eyes. She had nice little jiggly, actual nice fucking natural boobs, not the fake fucking silicone shit or the injection shit that most porn stars have. Jiggly. The ones you can, they feel better. Not big old fucking things you like put your hand to and you have to stop at a certain point because the fucking silicone will bust. She's legit. Her face is astounding. I mean, honestly, I have to say, just her face alone is a very heavy attraction. And if she came up to me and talked to me, like, "Oh my god, don't you know who I am?" I'd be like, "You're a person that acts. Yeah, you're just like anybody else, but you act. It's a job. Okay, yeah, you seem pretty cool." And the first thing that would happen, knowing that I'm not jumping hoops to get this girl to be attracted to me, you know what she's gonna say? You're different from everybody else. And that'll make her so much more attracted to me if she actually does like me. I mean, who doesn't like the way I look? Anyway. And all of a sudden, instantly, as more that she talks to, let's say, a guy like me, that's not influenced by stupid shit like, "Oh my god, you're a celebrity." Blah, blah, blah. They don't want that. That's how girls are in general. If they're good looking, that they get hit all the time. And yes, Mari did say that wing girl, she did state that, which was pretty much right, because that's what I come to a conclusion with in my own experience. Sometimes it's best to say what you need to say, and then the rest you just kind of ignore. It makes you look different than everybody else. So if a bunch of guys are hound dogs, or like, they look, "Oh my god, you got boobs." Yeah, so that's what girl thinks. I have boobs like every other girl, but they're bigger and nicer. Genetics. I eat better. Most girls are scared of protein. They're scared of fats because they're taught that fats are bad. Fats bring out hormone production, which makes your tits bigger. So drink more milk. Eat more fats. Not a lot of fats, but have a balance of fats. It'll make your tits bigger, just like with men. When you get amount of fats, your hormones go up. It makes your dick harder. That's pretty simple. Yes. Yes. Having a little bit of a fat percentage is fine. Not everyone needs to be having a six pack, and not every girl needs to have that big, enormous ass that most of these girls have. But building muscle is a little bit different than losing weight by far. I see a lot of these girls, man, their asses are like as big as my fucking chest, big as my torso. I'm like, it's like sticking my dick in a freight cart. It's just so massive. It's like, dude, what the fuck? Your hole's tight, but your ass is like enormous. I could jump on top of it and still have enough space to do stuff with because it's just so massive. It's a new trend. And a lot of these girls that just do butt exercises and don't work out their legs at all. They just do butt exercises. Their hammies, maybe their quads get a little bit bigger. They do butt exercises. I'm like, work out your legs too. Don't just work out your ass. Get your ass fucking as big as the moon is. And then sit there and be like, look at my butt. And TikTok. Oh my God. The failure of humanity to give someone that much freedom of being an idiot. By all means, do it. I was at White Castle's. I was with my mom. They had 100th or century anniversary. They went $100,000. Okay. So we went up there. Line was kind of long on that. Before we got to the actual the menu speaker box, there was a girl there. She was in a white car, and there was a black car behind her, a black Jeep, and there was my mom's Jeep. We were sitting there. She's a smoker in that. Obviously, she was smoking that. You know, something. I don't know why. Whatever. And she stopped there to look at her phone and that because she's just fucking massively obsessive, super hyperactive, skinny, very beautiful, evidently. She had two like round humps of hair on her fucking head. I'm like, seems like someone's yanking on your head quite a bit to have the fucking handlebars on your head. And so she was sitting there in that, and she sat there for about 30, 40 seconds. So I honked my mom's horn, and then she moved. Then we had these two assholes out front that think they were honking at them. I'm like, yes, because everything's about you. You had the big old like greasy mustache. You look like a fucking pedophile. And they kept like looking back in that and like kept doing this dramatic shit because unfortunately that's what people do, dramatic crap to make themselves stand out. And he like purposely was moving slow to interact with what I did. Like, you're an idiot. But anyway, the girl in front of that, she does her order and that. The assholes in front of us do their order and that and do this slow approach like they think that's going to do something. And before she got to the delivery window, she was sitting there with with her phone going like this and just has music on, just going dancing that. She kept looking back. And obviously she noticed me. And she looked back at me multiple times. I mean, you probably can't see because there's a little bit of a tan or I'd say a little bit of a tan on the window, so it's really hard to see sometimes. At least exactly. And she looked back multiple times. Point taking. Either you glance back, and this was before she did all this dancing shit. She'd move around and being a fucking idiot. She looked back multiple times, curious. Because she had plain view because the angle of her car was, turned towards the the drive-in for the delivery, and we were still in the speaker box. So the angle of looking was very precise. So I saw her plain as day. Obviously, if I could see her, she could probably see me. And then my eyes are not as good as long range, and maybe she had better eyes than me, so she could probably see specifically how I looked. She checked back twice, and all of a sudden, nowhere, she started doing music, and she started dancing on her phone. Started doing all these weird dances and that. I'm not saying it had anything to do with me, but it was obviously, well, I'm saying if someone's attracted to you, they act different. They act spontaneous. More or less because they're idiots. They think, I could dance and shake my ass, he'll like me. If a girl did that, came out there and like shook her ass on me and then was like, don't you like it? I'm like, yeah, I'll probably bang you later on, I guess, but that's not what I'm looking for. Is someone to get me hard. Do that myself. I don't need a woman to get me hard just to get me hard. What I'm saying, because you know what the relationship would be like. If I'm tired and she wants to have sex with me, I'm exhausted. I can't even get a boner anyway because I'm tired. I'm just like, and all of a sudden she's like, oh, get all excited. And they're like, oh, no, no. You know what's happening is she went up trying to find someone else to have sex with because that's all the relationship is going to be about. I have relationships like that. That girl that had a boyfriend up at Taco Bell, that fucked around with Crystal. That's all she wanted to do. She wanted to get to know me in that, but all she wanted to do was have sex with me at first. Of course, you know, who I am is, you know, I develop people. I develop myself with people. And eventually it started coming down to that she started to fall in love with me. She started to be more emotionally connected. She never tried to do anything too sexual. It was more or less I was doing it and she just thought it was adorable. She thought it was cute or whatever it was. It happens all the time. The women do these things. They're like, guys want it. I stick my ass out, stick my boobs out. They instantly are going to be like, oh, wow, I like you. Or it makes them feel like they're more attracted to me, to the girl. Wrong. Stop it. Yes, some men are going to do that. Some men are going to idle you. But the thing is, they're going to be the ones that approach you without you doing anything. It's the other way around for me because I don't approach. I talk to them as a person. Like, oh, hi, how you doing today? I'm getting really close to doing that. And all I say is up front, don't get too attracted to me. You know what it does to their mind? Makes them more attracted to me because I'm telling them not to do it. It makes them want to do it. Man, they may not show me and they'll be like, why do you think I'm attracted to you? I'm going to say, you know, who's not attracted to someone that looks as good as me. And then they start like the massive confidence, even though it might not be true. Even I am ugly. To someone, it might be beautiful. But that's the thing. And then if all the say if multiple women hear it, one of them's gonna act, they might act all different. One of them might be really sure, like, yeah, you do look really good. You know, how about we get to know each other? I never had a woman do that to me before. I'm waiting for it because they're not practiced to do that. That's what makes it interesting. I'll say my part. I've done it before, and they get speechless. They're like, well, he doesn't like me. And if I say that I like him, what the fuck? Are you that dumb you don't understand the concept of what actual engagement is? That's because you listen to all these gurus. You listen to all these fucking idiots on the internet. They're like, girls tell girls, let's let the guy do everything. Okay, just bend over and take it and be happy with that big dick you plowed up in your ass. And then luxury will come. How much women don't believe that, obviously. So I talked to a couple of them. They're like, yeah, when I was younger, that I was stupid. But as I got older now, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be with that guy. Well, that's the reason why. You grow up. So like I have a next door neighbor. She just turned 18. She'll be turning 19 somewhere in this year. I do research questions as I ask girls a question and I see how they react towards me. So that's how you gain knowledge. You can't do it unless you ask. So I saw her walking down and I came outside and then I asked her, I said, I saw that her mom wasn't walking with her and it was, her and her younger sister. I said, I'm like, where's your mom? I haven't seen her walking in a while. I'm like, is she okay? And she giggled really heavily at first, which is showing signs of attraction. Because when sometimes your brain just doesn't work, you're like, whatever. She's young. Obviously, I can't do nothing about that. But it was an experience because her heart was probably racing like, oh my God, this guy is very attractive. Looks, he got big arms that he looks like he lifts weights. He's beautiful. And I don't know what to say. So you're like, by all means, you can do that. And then she finally answered the question. She's like, oh, well, no, she just doesn't want to walk with us. We've been walking by ourselves lately. And all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, that's cool. And I was like, I'll see you guys later. And all of a sudden, they were walking and they were both like, they glanced at me as I was walking in, probably checking out my ass. Obviously, got a great ass. Hey, you girls don't like it, but you do like it. Whatever. And then you start hearing like the mumbling. The mumbling start getting really heavy. Obviously, they were talking about, oh my God, he said hi to me. And that I was like, he looks so pretty or up close or whatever the things I might say. I'm not saying that's what they said, but I'm saying how women work. Normally, if they like someone, they normally go through the steps. Oh, pretty face, beautiful eyes, nice smile. And they go to the body. Like, oh, he's got a nice body. And he's a little pudgy in there, but I like that. Yeah, actually, girls do like that. Countless girls like, I like that you have a little pudgy on you. It makes you look good. Why? Because they got a pretty face. Sorry, hate me all you want, but that's just how it is. I get away with a lot of stuff, and I know that now. I'm just like, yeah, I get away with a lot of shit, that other guys can never get away with. Like for instance, the job that I'm trying to get back, because I already know the job. It's very close. It's very easy. And there's this beautiful girl there that has a little dragon tattoo on her forearm. That very beautiful. I haven't really announced anything, but I noticed that yesterday when I'm up there, I was talking to one of the guys there. He is a mix between black and white and probably a little bit of everything else, like everybody else is. And his name's Charles. I talked to him in that, and I'm just like, we talk about that, talk about girls, and I talk about how attractive looking he is and that. And I'm a man. I'm like, oh, you look so cute with your little eyes. And I'm sure you get a lot of girls talking to you and that. And he always like does the blush thing and that. And I was just like, oh, it's just because I'm not here. That's the reason why. And I kind of chuckled. I laughed rather loud. And one of the girls started laughing too. Like, I noticed that was an attraction because just like, you're laughing because I said something that was obviously fucking stupid as fuck, but you interact with it for attention purposes. And that was a girl with a little dragon tattoo. Actually, not little. It's like as big as her fucking forearm, but she's a tiny girl. She's like, I don't know, like 5'5", maybe 130 something pounds. Very beautiful. By nose interaction. But these are the things you can notice as a man. If a woman's attracted to you, they'll show it right up front, honestly. They may not be like, hey, I want to suck your dick. That's what we want. No, more or less, it'll be the tone of voice. Listen. Men don't like to listen. Listen. If you listen, you'd be very surprised how much you might learn. Stop being a fucking idiot. Stop listening to these dumbass gurus on whatever you fucking watch, honestly. Just listen and feel. If a girl likes you, plus they're more happy, they're more giddy. The first time attraction, the emotional change happens instantly. No matter how strong or how weak the emotions are. Some people are shut-ins. They don't like to express themselves at all. So they sound a little bit more mature, but actually they're just not emotional. Or they don't show emotions much. But a lot of people do. That's how attraction works. So if I look at a girl in that, like I went up to Dearborg, a shopping center close to my house, about a mile away. And this tall black lady, I guess she was mixed. She had a little bit of the white skin tone in that. Super beautiful, tall, nice, nice round boobs and a nice butt in that. Obviously, boobs, you can't tell you're wearing a bra. Obviously, it could be lopsided, whatever, it doesn't matter. And I turned to her, I'm like, damn, I'm like, you look good. And she glanced at me, and then it probably made her day. She's probably. But if I was an ugly ass guy, like, Dad, yeah, that guy, she'd probably look at me like. But she looked at me, probably with a smile on her face. Did I go out and try to stick my fucking finger up her ass? No, I don't give a shit about that. Looks matter to a certain extent. How you talk matters to a certain extent. The tone of voice matters. The emotional attraction matters. How you give that speech matters. So I always say this. Say a word and say it in different emotional ways, and you'll see how it works. So you can say like, hey, baby, you want to take it out back? Or you say, hey, you look pretty good today. Do you mind sitting down with me? Or you can say it like an asshole or say it angrily. Hey, you better sit down with me. I paid for your food, didn't I? These are things men say. It's interaction different. Which one would you want? Probably the guy that's probably like, hey, you want to sit down with me? You want to share a drink with me? I notice you from afar. I'm very interested in you. Do you want to talk? Slight interactions like that matter a lot because girls respond to it differently. If that girl doesn't respond to it, more or less, don't do it. Or if you do it, then she'll be like, she'll say something, as in, let's look at the girl's point of view, ain't just the guy's point of view. You fucking gurus are idiots, ain't just the guy's point of view, it's the woman's point of view. So for instance, maybe the woman will be sitting there by herself on the phone, that having guys constantly hit on her. And you ask her, it's like, oh, it's like, how you doing today? You seem like you're bored and all these guys are hitting on you. That I've noticed that. And then you have to be massively annoyed. You could say, do you care if I buy you a drink? And, will she go up to you? Will she actually say something? More or less, she might say it. So I'd be like, oh, that's okay. I've already had a drink. Go, okay. And I'll ask specific questions like, what's on your mind? You seem very distraught. You're running around in circles in your head. Maybe she will be like, I normally don't like talking to random people, and that it's like, well, then you say, well, give them a name, because names, when you know someone's name, it normally makes the interaction more comfortable. So I go, yeah, my name's this. She go, oh, okay, my name's this. And I was wondering why you're in the bar by yourself. Most people go to the bar, especially as beautiful as you. Can't say you're doing it for attention, because obviously you don't have to worry about getting attention. You get a snap of a finger, because men just go to girls that look good instantly. They're hound dogs, what they do. And so you talk to her in that, and then, maybe a guy will come up drunk as fuck, be like, hey, baby, want me to buy you a drink? You know what she'll say? It's like, no, I already have one. So come on, baby. I'm like, yeah, she already has one. Then for me, this is where that leadership role comes in. Obviously, it does work in some way or another to take in charge. Like, yeah, she already has a drink, bub. And she's already talking to someone, so go fuck off. And then the guy will probably be, and walk away. Or the guy will be an asshole and be like, so you say that you own her? I'm like, how do you understand what ownership is? And you can't understand that you don't even know how to fucking walk right, more or less talk right. So your definition of skills are about as low as your brain and IQ is. Do you look like a person that can attract a woman that's hot? No. And most times I stop, because you say direct shit like that. I've done this shit before in a smaller way. It's fucking hilarious. Well, like, one of the barmaids up at the a restaurant bar next to my house, very beautiful. Her name's actually extremely stunning. You know that she's stunning because she practices it all the time. She got one of those like big old juicy round asses. That she's very compensated, so to speak. And I like going in there because I like listening to guys talk to her and how she reacts to them. A lot of times, what started off, I'm like, I know you fake laugh a lot when these guys talk to you about stupid jokes. And the guy that talked to me was far enough away or close enough to be able to hear me. I'm like, that was a dumbass joke that he said. And then she actually giggled at it as an actual laugh. The guy looked over at me multiple times. He saw my size. He's like, oh, he looks pretty big. He looks, very attractive looking or whatever it might be. And then, and then he stopped acting like that. I'm like, dude, that's how it works. He probably thought she was fake laughing at me the whole entire time you come in here. The joke was stupid. It was something to do with someone being chased by a dog, and that the dog chased some guy up a tree, and the guy jumped down. The dog jumped down. The guy said he shot him. He started laughing about it. I'm like, yeah, best way to get into a girl's pants is by killing someone, huh? Who taught you this? Some people just say stupid shit like that. And they fucking do. And they do it a lot. To me, it's hilarious. It's the most hilarious thing ever. But I would love to know people's way of dealing with things. If you want to comment below and hopefully like and subscribe, I want to pull people in. But YouTube likes being assholes towards people that are telling the truth. Maybe because my title card's not the best. Whatever. If I was a girl with big, huge titties, I would have tons of people watching me. You guys are a bunch of perverts. But honestly, I like to teach you the real thing. The real thing, not this bullshit thing. Because we all have experiences that we go through. Sometimes we just don't understand it because we're taught a way to not understand. Man, by the way, I gotta take a huge shit. Woke up like 3-4 hours ago. Like 3. Man, I really gotta blow some ass. So anyway, bye. Hope you guys enjoy this video. It's a little bit over an hour in that. If you don't enjoy it all the way through, but I have to say, I love talking about people because it is all about a learned experience. Doesn't matter how wrong they are or how right they are, more or less. You can learn wrong things and not know the right things. Or you can look at the wrong things and say, that's stupid. I don't want to learn that at all. And you're like, oh, this is right. Whatever. We'll see you guys later.